We lit the first candle for the ones who, along with Mary, waited, who longed with their souls, knowing God was on the way, that God would do something for the lowly. Their waiting is over. And we relight the light for those who are still waiting, waiting for God to be born in the name of justice, and we shall wait with them. We lit the second candle for the one who with the angels had a message to give, who proclaimed that God is among them, and their message is now fulfilled. And we relight the light for those who still believe in that message, that God is born in the world, and we will proclaim it with them. We lit the third candle for the ones who, with the shepherds, did not fear God becoming human. They will never fear again. And we relight the light for those who still fear not and believe in peace for our world. And we will believe with them. We lit the fourth for the ones who with the Magi travelled within the promise of God being born. Their journey is finished. And we relight the light for those who still travel within that promise, and we will journey with them. We lit the fifth on Christmas Day. The light is here, Christ is born. But this candle we do not extinguish, for it is not yet complete, till all are fed, all have shelter, all have a place to belong. This light, small as it may be, is for the ones who still wait, the ones who still believe the message, the ones who still do not fear, the ones who still join the journey. And we will carry it with them still. So be it. Amen.
As to Tartarus A reading from Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to 12. After Jesus' birth, which happened in Bethlehem of Judea, during the reign of Herod, astrologers from the east arrived in Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the newborn ruler of the Jews? We observed his star at its rising and have come to pay homage." At this news, Herod became greatly disturbed, as did all of Jerusalem. Summoning all the chief priests and religious scholars of the people, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem of Judea," they informed him. "Here is what the prophet has written. And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the leaders of Judah, since from you will come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Herod called the astrologers aside and found out from them the exact time of the star's appearance. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, after having instructed them, "Go and get detailed information about the child. When you have found him, report back to me so that I may go and offer homage too." After their audience with the ruler, they set out. The star which they had observed at its rising went ahead of them until it came to a standstill over the place where the child lay. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and, upon entering the house, found the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and paid homage. Then they opened their coffers and presented the child with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, so they went back to their country by another route.
The story of the birth of Jesus is deeply embedded in Western culture. The story takes images from the Gospels of Luke and Matthew and compiles a narrative of God coming to humankind to create peace and justice. Now, there are some details about Jesus' early life about which we can be fairly certain, such as he came from a large family in the small hamlet of Nazareth. He worked as a day labourer, possibly as an apprentice carpenter, and initially was a disciple of John the Baptist. But of his birth, we know nothing. So, where, may we ask, did these stories come from? The answer is that they came from a few people who were so caught up in what Jesus had said and done and his example that they exalted his birth and created a story of cosmic origin and intervention. The details, of course, are familiar. An angel appeared to the Virgin Mary, informing her that she had been chosen to bring into human flesh the one who would save the world. Joseph, her partner, was told the pregnancy was not suspect, that the child in Mary's womb was a manifestation of God's power. When Jesus was born, angels appeared to shepherds in the fields. Wise men, or magi, or kings from the east followed a star which was brilliant beyond all others that led to the manger. We all know the story. The biblical scholars tell us that they are products of the imagination created by the followers of Jesus who wanted to underline his status as absolutely special. They are, if you like, a fabrication with a purpose. They're not intended to be taken literally, but definitely to be taken seriously. Fiction with a purpose. But what is the purpose? In order to understand why the stories were written, we need to understand the context in which they were written. And that context, quite simply, is one of almost total wealth inequality created and sustained by an elite who oppressed the poor and destitute. The message of Jesus was the polar opposite. Loving human community wherein brothers and sisters cared for one another and shared the little they had. The Gospel writers were part of these very early Christian communities, and the images they use in their stories are a powerful repudiation of the oppression rampant in contemporary society. A poor girl is chosen. The destitute one born amongst the animals is actually the one sent by God. The angels appear to the poor in the fields and not to those who hold the wealth and power. The wisest of kings bring gifts and bow to the true king, not to Caesar, not to the oppressors. The Christmas story is one of comfort and sweetness, if you will allow me that word, but we must not become so enamoured by the silent night that we miss the revolutionary impact of the imagery. God appears in the poor places on earth and not in the councils and palaces of the rich and powerful. Many people today find using the word God very uncomfortable and substitute other words. The moral arc of the universe, rightness, universal love. The words are many, but the idea is singular, namely that the way of righteousness holds strong against the way of oppression. Like the Star of Bethlehem, the stories of Christmas guide the way in the darkness. And just as in the time of Jesus, so today the forces of greed and ego are appearing with renewed strength and must be countered with the power of love. The Nativity is our assurance that love will win out.
Rescue We light this candle in remembrance and hope, to call to mind Magnus and Ronald and all the saints, and all those dear to us who have gone before, especially those who have died in recent times. And as a sign of hope to future generations as yet unborn, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life.
A prayer. Between Hogmanay and Nerdday is a daring place where futures are chosen. It is just a moment between one tick on midnight and another. But between looking one way and then looking another, between looking back and turning forward, that few seconds is the place where decisions are made about what to live towards for the rest of the year. It is a moment when nothing is tied down, nothing is fixed, nothing is inevitable. It is a moment to turn from past to future, moving our hands and heart from what supported us in the past to hold what will give support to us in the days to come. And that moment is the moment of faith. Not just in letting go, but deciding what we shall hold to. What shall we point to? It is these few moments where futures are won or lost. Shall we resolve to do as we have always done, or shall we dare our faith to make a choice that will challenge us but change the world? Tire us, but give life to others. Weaken us, but strengthen our neighbours. May we be blessed in our moment of faith. Between the ticking towards midnight and find in the future a strength, a hope, a fresh place to meet the kingdom in the one who is there between Hogmanay and Nerdday, ready to travel into the unmade days of this new year. Amen.
Glory to a newborn King.
the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the grey window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colours, indigo, red, green and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays and the current of thoughts and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours, may the clarity of light be yours, may the fluency of the ocean be yours, may the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so, may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. May you stay safe in the way of Christ, and may you be blessed by His Spirit this day and always. Amen.